guys, welcome back to another video. I hope you guys are doing well. If you're new here, thank you so much for giving me a chance and for being here before. I really do appreciate the love and the support. My name is kcmatela, but you can call me KC. So I'm so excited to be sitting here today. I really hope that you guys will enjoy this video. We are just sitting down today and just talking. I really hope that my audio is good and the visuals are also good, because I'm struggling with lighting quite a bit, but I hope that everything is good enough for my official first video of 2024. So I wanted to talk to you guys a little bit about planning for the year. I feel always, every start of a new year, I feel so overwhelmed, you guys. I do take some time though to plan my year. Even if I start in the previous year, I do take my time to plan the year, because you have to pray, you need to listen to God, and also church as well. At church we also have our own time for prayer, time for fasting, and you wouldn't want to mix your own personal things with the things of the church or the things of a church leader, if that makes sense. So I prefer to have an idea of my personal goals as well, to realign and know where I am personally before I can say, okay, this is also where things are going with the church as well. We have a theme at church for the year and we plan our year around it, but you should also have your own personal theme, based on your own personal life from God himself to you, so that you are not only just aligned to your spiritual father or your pastor, or and what God is doing in your church, but also in your personal life, what God is doing in your own personal life. So yeah, I get overwhelmed because I just feel like I want to have everything together so quickly. I know that a lot of people are starting with fasting. I think today's the 11th of January. Those who are going to do a 21-day fasting have already started now. Today up until the 31st of January, and maybe others are going to start a bit later and so on. So I will also touch on fasting and prayer at the end of this video. So for now, I just wanted to encourage you guys to plan your year properly and not just go with the flow. You know what I mean? Like, the most important thing when it comes to planning for the year for me is having the discipline of actually planning it out, actually writing down your goals. It is a discipline on its own, because when you do that, you are forced to think. You are forced to think about the year. You're forced to think about the things that you want. I sometimes go back to you have to reflect on the previous year. I go back to my previous goals, the goals that I had for 2023. Vision board. I don't really go back to the vision board, because everything I put on the vision board is what I've already written down. I write them down first and then I put them on a vision board so that I can visualize it. So I just go back to my notes and then I look at all my goals and then I see what I've achieved. I tick it off, and then the things that I haven't achieved, I will transfer them to the next year. And I'm not comfortable with that. At first, I used to feel so bad. I used to be so discouraged when I realized that there are some things that I did not achieve, but now I'm better with that. I am so grateful for every little thing, even if it's one thing on that list that I achieved. For me is a win, because I remember how it used to make me feel, and that's not good. So sometimes just also reflect on the steps you have taken to achieve some of the goals, even though you have not achieved them. There's this chapter on Bamboozled by Jesus by Yvonne Oji, the book, where she says that even when I lose, I win, because she's coming from a point of all of her losses has led to wins in the long run. So that's the point I'm trying to make with that, to say that even though you may not have gotten what you wanted, but that pursuit, is a win on its own. God is preparing you for the future, for that thing that you really want. So it's important to reflect back and not be discouraged by the things that you have not yet achieved, and just transfer them to the new year, plan better, and so on. Okay, another discipline is actually executing, because we just want to write things down, but then we don't have any steps to achieve them. And even if we do have the steps to achieve them, we might not take those steps to achieve them. Like, I always have body goals on my vision board, but what am I going to do to achieve those body goals? You know what I mean? Like, what are you going to do to achieve those body goals? What is the plan? And after you find out the plan, or you outline the plan, execute. Now you need to start eating well. Now you need to start actually going to the gym and all of that. Like, the SMART method. Goals need to be attainable, they need to be measurable, they need to be time years. You need to know that, okay, you can't just put something big there, or maybe say that you want to buy a car and then you don't have a plan to buy a car, or you don't even have a job. It's like, okay, how are you going to get a car when you don't have a job? What's the plan? So it's one of those things to say that you need to make sure that your goals are very realistic, and then when are you going to achieve them, how are you going to achieve them, and all of that, so that when you're not overwhelmed when you have to execute, because there's a plan. So if your goals are unrealistic, you'll not be able to execute. So execution is very important. It is very, very important. It is the most important, because now that's when you actually start to do the work. So I really do encourage that when it comes to planning, that you need to be able to execute, and you need to be able to think of execution when you're planning. When you're busy with your planning, have the steps down where you're going to execute. A lot of people do their vision boards. You just want to put nice pictures together and have a nice, cute little looking vision board, but you don't even have a notebook on the side where you've written how you're going to achieve all of those things. It does not have to be overwhelming. It does not have to be a lot of work at all. You just write under it, to just write simple steps to achieve it. Don't do a whole spreadsheet now and write complicated things. That will be a little bit overwhelming, but just a way to break things down so that they're easy to you and they are achievable. In that way, you know that this is where I start, this is where I do second. It's just like with saving money. Where do you start? If you just say save money, that's going to be so overwhelming for you. You have to tell yourself that, okay, I'm gonna start by simply just putting away 500 rands. Trust me, from that you'll be very encouraged. And that's how I started saving a few years ago. I think it was in 2020, because I just got married and I used all of my savings. And yeah, because we had to buy furniture and everything, yeah, basically. And when we got married, we didn't have any money, so we just took everything that we had and put it into things that we had to do. So I had to start end of that year, and I started putting away just 500 rands. And at that time, I didn't feel like I had room in my budget. I had room in my because I had taken over a lot of people, so I didn't think I had room in my finances to be able to save as much as I wanted to save, because we think we have to save this much money. I started with 500 rands. And I remember at the end of 2021, I could not believe that it had accumulated to that point. And from there, I was like, this is such little money. It's such little money. Maybe I should do more so that I can get more out of it. So it started becoming a discipline, and it started to grow from there on until now. So now I have bigger goals and bigger dreams, and I just add to that and make it better. So that's just an example of how you do that. So that's around your vision board and how to start actually thinking about planning, right? The one thing that I also wanted to talk about is the importance of thinking big, right? Like, I know it is easier said than done, but I am so motivated this year, because I feel like getting older, when you grow up, you realize you do not have much time left, like, it's crazy. Like, I have a toddler now, and thinking of the principles that I wanted to grow up with, and therefore the kind of school that I wanted to go to, and therefore the upbringing, all of these things that you're thinking about. What happens when you're not there anymore, and all of those things, as you grow up, they bombard you and they freak you out, literally. And I just feel like, oh my goodness, like, I can't keep living a life of regret. Now I need to start living a life that is fearless, because I have so much at stake. I'm growing up. I cannot now not follow my dreams. I cannot now not pursue what I want to do. Now it's do or die. If I fail, I fail. It's fine. You understand? Like, I'm not new to failure. Like, I'm over 30 years now. It means that I have my fair share of failures. I've done it before. I'm still here. So this year is one of those years for me that I feel like I'm just gonna try anything that I want to try. If I die, I die. Honestly. Like, again, Bamboozled by Jesus. Please read that book. If you haven't read that book yet, please read that book. I think it will really challenge you if you want to live the life that you always wanted to live, and maybe you are discouraged, or maybe you don't feel like you know your purpose. And if you feel like you are stuck somewhere, if you feel like you are in a place where God is trying to remove you from that, or if God has removed you from that place and now you're where you're supposed to be, but you still don't really know how to find your feet, get that book, Bamboozled by Jesus by Yvonne OG. So she taught me, there's this chapter in the book. I don't remember what chapter it is, but it's about what she says, that you should not live a life of regret. That she doesn't want to live a life of regret. She will do everything afraid. She will do everything scared than live a life of regret. So that's where I am this year. I'm not going to live a life of regret. I don't want to regret anything. So I'm just going to be starting anything and everything. Right? If it fails, they're going to talk anyway. If that's what you're worried about, they're going to talk anyway. Right? And if you're worried about being discouraged, do not be discouraged. There will be another thing for you to start. I know it can be easier said than done. I currently have things that I want to do now that are so scary, and that does not bring much comfort. But then again, it's a mindset thing. If you say that this is the principles that I live by, the disciplines that I live by, or the principles of discipline that I live by, and therefore I have no choice but to execute, I have no choice but to see this thing through, then you have to do what you have to do. One other thing that is very important that will help you with this is the discipline of obedience. The discipline of obedience, because all of us are not here for just being here. We are here because there's a higher meaning, or rather like a bigger reason, a bigger purpose that you're here. And we know it deep down. We know that God is calling us to something, or God has called us to something. So you need to obey, right? You need to obey. So it also has to do with that. So this year we are going to live a life of obedience, so when I say that we need to just go for what we want and not live a life of regret, it is aligned with that. It is aligned with what God is calling us to do. Taniki said that, and it has stuck with me, and I think it will forever stay with me, when she said that obedience is not for anyone. Obedience is for you. So you need to be obedient. You need to follow that thing that you know that God has called you for, and God has called you to do. Okay? But most importantly, what I want to highlight is that, or rather what highlights from what I said, is that number one, you need to plan, right? You need to plan. It's good for you to plan. It's good for you to put everything on paper. And then number two, you need to execute. Okay? You need to execute. And then most importantly, you need to obey. You need to obey. It is the last one, but it's definitely the most important one. It should be the first one, actually. To always obey. Everything that you do should come from God. So you need to go back to God first. You need to go back to God first. And I will say this again. With every beginning of something, you need to start with God. You need to start with God with everything that you do. Your day, you need to start with God. The year, you need to start the year with God. So that is why in the beginning of the year, we go for a time of fasting and prayer. We have to start with God. We get our help from the Father. We look up to the hills But where does our help come from? Our help comes from the Father. So please be obedient and listen to the voice of God. What God is saying to you, that is what is most important. And if you say that you do not know what God is saying to you, it's all in the Bible. You do not have to worry. Read your Bible. You will know what God is saying to you from there. And yeah, with that said, let's move over to the fasting part. Okay, so when it comes to the fasting part, well, fasting is basically, if you don't know, it's basically just denying yourself of food for spiritual reasons. I think that's the best way I can explain it. It's just denying yourself of food for spiritual purposes, right? So fasting is not just about the act of you not eating for some time. It is a discipline. It's spiritual. It is about you denying yourself of your flesh and saying that let my spirit become stronger. I hope that makes sense. But fasting is mostly about God, about your heart, you know. A lot of people worry about small things when they fasting. That's why I'm emphasizing that fasting is not about just the physical act of you not eating. It's about you connecting to God. You know, if you happen to take a sweet from a child by mistake and you put it in your mouth, if you don't condemn yourself, it's fine. The minute you remember, just laugh about it. You laugh about it and keep moving, and stay on your fast. And most importantly, if you are fasting and you are not praying, you're just stabbing yourself. So make sure that you are constantly praying. Give yourself some time to go and pray. If you're at work, go to the bathroom, pray. Take a walk, pray. And when you come back, before you break your fast, pray. So it's all about that. Fasting is all about realigning with what God wants you to do in your life. That's what it's about. So you need to pray. You need to stay in prayer. It is not about you. It's not about the food. It is about you and God. It's about the heart. It's a heart thing. It's between you and God. So if you have never fasted in your life and you want to start fasting and you don't know how to because you're so addicted to food, just start small. You can just do a Daniel fast. The best thing, guys, to remember when doing these things is not to make everything religious, because it will condemn you, it will confuse you. So the best thing that you need to do when you want to start fasting is just step by step. Do not spiritualize things. Hence I say, let it be a heart thing, let it be a relationship thing, let it be between you and God. Let it not be between you and the other person, what the other person says. Let it be between you and God. If you are struggling, or there's pills that you're currently drinking and you can't starve yourself because you're gonna die, or you're gonna fall or something, so just take fruits. You can just have fruits and veggies, and just so that you can retain your energies. If you feel too weak and you're on a fast and you can't work, you can't function, it should not be like that. That's not how it is. That's not how God works. I feel like most of the time we feel like we have to suffer. And it's not like that. Like take a banana or something just so that you can regain your energy, or drink water or something, regain your energy, or 100% juice, and then continue on your fast. Let it not be religious. Let it be between you and God. Let it be pure, because when you're not being pure. When you just taking that banana for the sake of taking it because you can't, the truth. But when you are so weak that you can't function, you are supposed to function. No one is supposed to see you. It says that in the Bible. No one is supposed to see you and pity you and say, oh, they're like that because they're on a fast. No, it's not supposed to be like that. You are supposed to look good, to cook for your family while you're on a fast. Cook for your family. Smile. Be joyous. And just say, no, I'm not going to eat. I'll just have, some water, So I think I wanted to talk about it just so I can simplify it the best that I can, so that if you are hoping to partake in the fasting this year and you have been condemning yourself for some time about fasting, that you don't do that. And a lot of people do that. So I wanted to speak about it just in a simplified way and just leave it at that and not complicate it. But that is just how it is. I've also struggled over the years because of body pregnancy, body in, you know, and just be like, oh, I can't do this. Okay, when you're pregnant, please eat. You know, but I'm just saying that sometimes you condemn yourself or you feel bad because you actually want to fast, because you know what it can do for you or what it does for you, not just spiritually as well, but also for your physical body, because it has many benefits for your physical body as well and your mind, trust me. So yeah, guys, I really hope that you have heard me. I hope that this video is good enough, that you were able to take a few things from it. Thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate your support. Please share this video if you know somebody who might have something or get something out of this. I thought it would be like even shorter than it is, because I just wanted to say a few things, chop, just make things like a bit simpler for you, so that you're not as overwhelmed as I get during this time of the year. I get so anxious. But there's one thing also, it's not all bad. There's something also that the reason I get so overwhelmed is because I want to savor this moment so much, you know, the spirit of newness, you know, that roams around. I don't know if I should call it a spirit, but I just want to use full advantage of the beginning, or of the yeah, you know what I mean. You get it. You get me. So yeah, I always just wanna take advantage. Like people who go to gym at this time of the year, you're taking advantage of that feeling of new year, new me. That's how I feel. I want to take advantage. I want to do anything and everything, you know, so that by the time that energy wears out, I've already accumulated some discipline, you know. I'm consistent. I'm fired up. You get what I mean? And I have no choice but to what? Continue. So yeah. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys on another video. Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And please don't forget to share this video if you feel like it might do something to someone. Thank you so much. I really do appreciate the love and the support. Until next time.